you gonna call?
Well, I don't need to call anyone. You're all right here.
This is Dan from Action Figure Magic. And if it was ever said that Hasbro does not give the people what they want, this shows that they know exactly what collectors want and what their fans like. This is Ghostbusters in G.I. Joe O-ring format. This is probably the coolest thing that they've ever done. If they start doing some of their other franchises in O-ring type, like Indiana Jones, of course I'd buy that. All right, so here we go. Let's take a look at our characters. We've got Dan Aykroyd as Ray Stantz, and it looks just like him. It's really good. Then we've got Ernie Hudson as Winston Zeddemore. Again, you know exactly who it is by looking at him. And then we've got Bill Murray as Peter Venkman. Again, there's just the hair, the face, the facial expression, and then my personal favorite, we've got Harold Ramis as Egon Spangler. This is just the coolest 4-pack I think they could possibly make. And I did mess up the box a little bit, but luckily I did film some footage beforehand, so let's take a look. Hasbro Ghostbusters Plasma Pack. This is the 40th year anniversary of Ghostbusters, and this is a collector's box that looks like an old VHS tape because that's what, this video is probably mostly watched on back in the day. It's got the classic letterings. It has the weathered look to it. It opens up for those inbox collectors that you can just see the window display. This shows a little how-to of how to use the accessories. And there is everyone. There are the characters right there. For inbox collectors, I'm not too sure you're going to want to keep this in box because how could you not want to open this up and play with it? So let's get back to the figures. Welcome back. And now that we've seen the box in all its glory, let's take a closer look at these accessories and see the fantastic detail on these absolutely incredible nostalgic figures. And I have to be completely honest, just opening these figures and seeing them, I have never wanted to watch Ghostbusters more in my life. So if this doesn't fill you with all of the Ghostbusters glory, I don't know what will. All right, so for their accessories, the first out is their proton packs, which comes on them in the box. It's like a G.I. Joe backpack, so it moves around. It does come off. We'll take a closer look at that later. And then it comes with the blaster pose piece of it, and it's got a connection piece that it probably slides into the proton pack somewhere. We just got to figure out where, and then he can hold it. And there's a little notch on the holster, so he probably does go in his hand as well and hold on there. And okay, so it looks like on the back of the box, it looks like there's a little spot. Yep, and there it is. There's a little notch that goes on, so there's a little, I want to call it, the technical term is a hoogie. So you find the hoogie, you connect it, and then you're good to go. And then you could put it in his hand, and he could blast those ghosts. And because honestly, that's his job. All right, so now he is armed and he is ready to go. And honestly, so all of the other Ghostbusters figures I have so far, so there's the original Kenner line, and then Hasbro put out a 6-inch Black Series / Marvel Legends compatible size ones, and I never quite liked the blasters on those. This I honestly think is probably one of the better ones. It doesn't have like the plasma effect. Sorry, not plasma, the proton effect. I'm looking at the box. It says the plasma pack, and my brain just wants to go plasma. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the accessories on the other figures, but this one, just with the ability to put it on his back, actually makes it pretty amazing. And then Ray Stantz has his goggles so that he can see ghosts, see apparitions, and go swimming in the swimming pool and not have to worry about getting chlorine in his eyes. The top 3 most important things to our Dan Aykroyd. And now we have our very own Bill Murray action figure, our Dr. Peter Venkman, and we're just going to put his blaster on. We're going to have to do this with each of the characters just to get them going. So you're going to see a lot of backs, a lot of backpacks. And then let's give him the blaster so that he could hold it. So for Ray, we put it in his holstered. For the other ones, we'll probably put it in the holster as well. And we'll give him there's 2 other accessories. So there's a trap, and then there's the beep, beep, thing. So, and then we have Ernie Hudson, one of the best actors out there. when you see Ernie Hudson in a movie, it's hard not to just be happy with him. Congo is probably my all-time favorite Ernie Hudson movie, and it's just he's Ernie Hudson. He is our Winston Zeddemore. He walks off the streets, he joins the Ghostbusters, and he doesn't think anything of the fact that he now busts ghosts for a living. And now he is all packed up, so let's get him one of the accessories. So I think the one we're going to give him is the trap, because I want to save the last for Egon, because he's the one who's typically using it. So the trap slides in the hand. So when they've got those ghost trap with their blasters, he just slides that trap out and they catch him. He's good to go. And now let's get our Egon ready, our Harold Ramis. All right, so here is his detector, so he can know when there's things and ghosts about, so that they can get. The handle actually looked a little bit bigger. I was expecting it to not fit in so easily, but no, Hasbro knows what they're doing. And I'd say of all the characters, he's got the most likeness to the actor. That's interesting. His head only goes side to side, not the full range of motion that GI Joes usually have, where they're on like a ball. So you could see Wetsuit could nod his head up and down, but Egon is not so agreeable. He will just shake his head no. So keep that in mind if you're ever getting into an argument with him. And let's take a look at his shoulder articulation. So on G.I. Joe, anyone who's played with G.I. Joes has taken the screws out, and they know very fully well how they're all put together. And they've also had to replace the O-ring, so they know exactly what all these guys do. And it looks like these are the exact same. So really good articulation on these, exactly what you'd expect. You've got the rubber band holding them together, you've got the crotch piece, you've got the legs that can go wild and everywhere, and then we've got the hole in the back where the screw goes, which also serves as the holder for the backpack. So you can see like the design on these guys is just pretty much exactly the same, except for the slight modification on the neck, which I'm sure that was made for a design reason, but I'm not going to complain about it. And now that we've done accessories and articulation, let's take a closer look at some of the fine details on these figures. So the one thing I want to call out, which is I think the coolest thing, is the Ghostbuster symbol on their arm. Just it's tiny, but it's got so much detail, you know exactly what it is. And then let's swap out some of the characters so we can use them each. And then we've got the cool little, just the suit on them is great. I love Ernie Hudson's mustache. This is another one that just looks a lot like the character. And I think one of the best things about the G.I. Joe figures back in the day is they were small, but they were fully loaded with all sorts of just detail on their body, and their face sculpts were great. These are the exact same. There's a lot of detail that goes into this suit, almost more so than some of the large scale figures. And the faces are just really good sculpts. They're a little bit more simple because just they're supposed to be the nostalgic, but they're perfect. And look, they could dance. So, I mean, if they want to, they could leave their friends behind, because from what I've heard, their friends don't dance, and honestly, if they don't dance, then they're no friends of theirs. So, safety first. And now let's take a closer look at our Dan Aykroyd. Just it's just that little smirk. It's a classic Ray Stantz action figure. It just looks so good. As far as the accessories go, I think the goggles are going to give me a little bit of an issue. When I took it off before, it just slides right off. So if you're going to display him with it, it it might not stay on if he topples over, which GI Joe figures are known for, unless you get a stand for him for falling over. And this is a really tiny, small accessory, so the chance of keeping that and not losing it, that is going to be a real challenge. So I think for my case, I'm just going to not display him with it, and that'll be okay. We'll get Wetsuit out of there so we can give these GI Joe inspired Ghostbusters O-ring figures all the glory that they deserve. These are amazing. Pick them up. Thanks for watching. Enjoy.